It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. And it's Focus Fridays on That Business Show, weekly feature brought to us by Julianne Nichols at the Focus on You strategy, bringing out the CEO in you. And you can learn more about this throughout the discussion, and also there are many CEO exchanges over at the website focusonyoustrategy.com. And we're joined in studio today by her chief strategist, Angie Lusk. So, Angie, welcome to the program today.
Good morning.
So you have a couple of upcoming CEO exchanges. So first off, for the audience that's not familiar with this, tell us first off what a CEO exchange is.
Yes, a CEO exchange is a chance for business owners to get together and strategize about the challenges they may be finding in their business. We limit it to 10 people, and each person gets dedicated time on the agenda to share a challenge and then get everyone else's feedback about how to take on that challenge.
And everybody else, or I should say the person getting the feedback must remain quiet, which is a big challenge for any typical CEO, and usually a type A personality who likes to argue and then say, well, I've already done that, and so you got to remain quiet. I've sat through one myself, so I can definitely attest to the difficulty in remaining quiet when you get the feedback, because it's like, yeah, I've done that, or that doesn't work. You want to be argumentative, but you got to sit back, you got to listen. And so that's one of the things about the CEO exchanges. I see these on the calendar a lot, again, over at Focus on You Strategy. How often are they put on? I know you got one coming up on the 23rd and the 25th, but on average, how often do you put them on?
They're pretty much every Tuesday and Thursday across Tampa Bay.
Okay. And their next one is on the 23rd. This is going to be hosted by the C1 Bank on the North Dale Mabry. And then the other one is on the 25th, and that's going to be at the Regis First Central Bank in St. Petersburg. And Regis is a new relationship for y'all, right? You had they were traditionally held at C1 Bank, but now they're at Regis as well, correct?
Yeah, we just expanded our locations and set up an office at Regis's new St. Pete location in the First Central Tower. So we're really excited to welcome them and kick off our first CEO exchange there next week.
Now, they're from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Is there a cost involved with them? How does that work?
Yes, they're $35 and they include lunch.
They include lunch, and that's always beneficial to have lunch. That makes it worth it right there. I generally spend $20-30 on lunch as it is, so go take advantage of one of their CEO exchanges. So, Angie, tell me a little bit about your role with Focus on You Strategy. Chief Strategist is the title, but tell me about your role with Julianne.
Yeah, I facilitate the CEO exchanges, and then I also help business owners who are trying to grow or who feel stuck or overwhelmed with the state of their business. And what I specifically do is help them develop the processes and plans they need to grow. So for instance, if someone is thinking about taking on their first employee, but they're not quite sure how to do it, they're not quite sure how to structure their work, we work with them to evaluate what their needs are and establish a process so that when they bring that first hire on, they're very successful.
Now, was this something that came natural to you? You've been through some business ownership yourself, or was this something that was kind of taught to you by Julianne? I know you worked with her prior to coming on as her chief strategist, but tell me a little bit about your background in business too.
Sure. So for about 10 years, I ran campaigns, so political campaigns and contract campaigns. So this idea about taking a big idea and turning it into a step-by-step plan has been my skill set for a long time. And then in about 5 years ago, I decided to take the jump into business ownership and started my own travel agency. And through that, I intersected with Julianne at a CEO exchange and saw really the value of working with someone like her to help structure the business, help think through how to expand and grow. And so it was just a natural fit for my skill set around creating processes and plans to help other business owners.
So your first step was in campaigns and politics, and then you go into business. How different is running a campaign versus running a business just in general?
It's not that different, actually. It's a lot of pressure.
A lot of organization, a lot of moving parts, I'm sure, moving the candidate from place to place. And so, do you miss that environment at all? I mean, how did you, and why did you step out of the campaign world?
Well, I do miss it every now and then because it is fast-paced and a lot of adrenaline, but that's why I stepped out. I wanted a little bit more control over my work hours. At the time, I was working on campaigns in different states. And so I like being able to control my own travel versus having to.
What was your role? Were you in organization and events? Were you involved in any of the speech writing maybe? What was your role inside the campaigns?
So I was a lobbyist for a few years. Mm-hmm. I also helped run the field for some presidential campaigns, just small regional offices.
Right.
And then I also worked on contract campaigns, so helping coordinate the communications and the organization, the field.
Very cool. And so you went into business and you were in the travel business, correct?
Yes.
Why did you start a travel business? And especially in this day and age where the internet's out there, why do we need a travel agent?
Well, good question. Why do you need one? For me, it was just a natural fit. My husband and I love to travel. We were already planning trips for our family and friends, and it really is the same skill set around finding details, helping people make decisions. So it was definitely a good fit. And in terms of why do people need a travel agent, it is one of those things where the more information that's available on the internet, the harder it gets to make decisions. So a lot of my clients just don't want to spend hours trying to search the internet, trying to figure out what's a scam, what's not a scam. Mm-hmm. Do the pictures really look like that? Right. And really sorting through all those options.
So travel agents are still alive and well out there in the community. So what does the typical travel agent do? Are they the ones going to Expedia.com and Travelocity and those sites, or do they have other sources and connections that maybe you're not going to have just by going on the internet, obviously?
Yeah, we definitely have connections to other options, to consolidators, direct relationships with individual properties that an average consumer wouldn't be able to access to give special benefits or pricing to consumers that you wouldn't necessarily find on Expedia. The other big piece is figuring out where the value is. So you can find a package on Expedia, but you may not know for $100 more, you could stay at a much nicer resort in a much better location with free breakfast.
Is travel agency, being a travel agent today, is there still, an opening for that type of a job out there? Or is it just such a competitive market that anybody stepping into that today would have trouble getting going into business?
I absolutely think there's still an opening. As people get more and more busy, there's always room for concierge services to take that off their plate. I mean, when it comes to me, you send me an email or we chat on the phone, and now you have 3 customized, perfect for your family options coming in your inbox.
And that is true. People do love personal service, and everybody likes to save $1 or $2, but you can't underestimate the value in personal service that you can get. And travel agency is definitely a business where it's a very personal type of relationship. Obviously, talking about what you want to do and where to go. Did you specialize in any area of travel, or did you book cruises and hiking and all the different stuff? Were you able to handle any type of event?
Yeah, at the beginning I handled all different type of events, but then I realized if you really want to stand out in a competitive market, you really have to create a specialization. So I work a lot with families and small family groups, especially when it comes to Disney World cruises in the Caribbean.
So how did you differentiate yourself then from the other travel agents that were on the market? And also, how did you just market yourself against all the online services that were out there?
So the first step was to really focus on my immediate network and letting them know this was what I was doing and start planning trips for them. And from there, it really became a referral base of those friends and family. And then in addition, I've done some work on Facebook and content marketing with blogs and just putting the expertise out there. I think a lot of people don't know what they don't know. Mm-hmm. And so I think pointing out, did you know about this? Did you know about that? Helps illustrate why it's important to have an expert help you.
How were you billing your services? Did the clients pay you, or were you getting commissions from the different hotels and the cruise lines? Were your services free to consumers in general, or how does that work?
Yeah, so every travel agent's different, but I don't charge any additional fees. I will receive a commission from the resort or cruise where the vacation is booked, so I don't need to charge a fee. I do charge a fee in the case someone wants to use, their timeshare or they're booking with points or something like that, because I won't receive a commission in that situation.
Okay, so you stepped out of the campaign world. You're doing the travel agency thing. Did you make any critical mistakes that you eventually went on to learn through the CEO exchanges and through working with Julianne at Focus on Your Strategy? What were some of those early mistakes you may or may not have made in your business?
I think one of the first mistakes was being way too general and saying, I can do anything. I can book a trip anywhere in the world. And though technically that was true, it didn't differentiate me in the market. It didn't make me any different than the internet. And so when I made the decision to really specialize on the areas I know best, cruises, the Caribbean, and Disney World, I saw a huge increase in my business because people began to see me as the expert in that type of trip. And so that really helped grow the business. So that was the first big mistake I made. And then the second big mistake I made was thinking that every client is my client and not pre-qualifying my clients in a really strong way to make sure that we're going to be a good fit to work together.
Okay, so focusing on a niche, obviously you want to get every business or every opportunity to land a sale, and you can take this cruise or that hiking trip or this event here, but you really started focusing on that one niche, and that was what, the Disney World, Disneyland type of trips right there. Mm-hmm. And so was that as a result of working with Julianne, or was that as just a result of your own natural a path in business?
Oh, no, that was definitely a result of working with Julianne. Okay. She really encouraged me. I think she talks a lot about the 5 whys. Mm-hmm. So part of the whys is why you and why your specialty. And so she really encouraged me to, like, what is it that you know best that really is going to differentiate you from the internet and from other travel agents?
So by limiting your reach, you increased your bottom line, mm-hmm. whereas most people's natural tendency is to throw a wider net, thinking, okay, I can catch more fish with a wider net than I can with a smaller net. But that's not always true in business, as you just demonstrated right there. So focusing on a niche right there, demonstrated by Angie Lusk. What was another key area that you saw improvement in when working with Julianne, or just through your natural progression in business?
Another key area that I really saw a lot of improvement in is how I was able to articulate how I make a difference. So again, using that 5 whys paradigm of why do you even need a travel agent? You know, why do you need a travel agent that specializes in Disney World or cruises? And then why me? Narrowing it down to that level of focus really helped me be able to be stronger in my communications, stronger in my elevator speech, just stronger in how I'm able to express to people what it is exactly that I do.
Currently talking to Angie Lusk. She is a chief strategist with Julianne Nichols over at the Focus on You strategy, bringing out the CEO in you. And be sure to register for one of their upcoming CEO exchanges where you can learn some of these valuable tips and talk about your own business with a group of your peers. They have an event coming up on August 23rd, as well as August 25th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., the first of which is at the C1 Bank on North Del Mabry, the second of which is at the Regis Bank in St. Petersburg. Continue the discussion also in the Facebook group, Focus Fridays, and learn more about this, of course, at focusonyoustrategy.com. We got a lot more with this discussion when we come back from the break. You're listening to Focus Fridays edition of That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today, or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you. How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vane 911. We will help you feel great again.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Crash in Hernando County affecting the intersection of Cortez and Mariner Boulevard, affecting the eastbound direction. The right and center lanes blocked here. Also seeing lane blockage on northbound Mariner. Southbound 75 now slow between Fletcher Avenue and I-4. Southbound 275 from Fletcher to around Sly. And southbound Veterans Expressway on the brakes from Ehrlich to around Waters. See traffic problems. Call the injury firm of Abrahamson, Udrich, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council. Join parents and experts at Understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help you help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Today, mostly sunny, 40% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, high 92. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 78. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance with a high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. You find the show on here Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 on Tampa Bay's 1250 Wins WHNZ, and also a live video stream available over at TampaBayRadio.com. And also, it's the Friday 7 o'clock hour, which means it's Focus Fridays, where we talk about bringing out the CEO in you, thanks to Julianne Nichols with the Focus on You strategy. And learn more about this over at FocusOnYouStrategy.com, and take advantage of one of their many CEO exchanges, two of which are coming up on the 23rd and the 25th of this month from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Just $35 to register, again, over at FocusOnYouStrategy.com. In studio with Angie Lusk, Chief Strategist with the FocusOnYouStrategy.com, and also a travel agent. And you can learn more about her trips at tripswithangie.com. So, Angie, tell me a little bit about some of the mistakes that you see people make with regard to traveling.
Well, the number one biggest mistake that I see people make is they book flights.
Wait. Drinking the water in Mexico.
That's a good one. Yes, definitely. Drinking the water in Mexico or any country where you're not familiar with the water. That's a good point. But no, booking the flights in names that don't match their IDs.
How's that even possible?
So a lot of people, if they're booking an international flight, will drop off their middle name.
Okay.
You have to have it. It has to match your passport. Or what happens is another member of the family books it, and just because you always called him Fred doesn't mean his legal name is Fred.
So what happens at the airport when you don't match? Do they say, sorry, go try again? Or is there a solution to it there?
Yeah, sometimes you can troubleshoot it with the TSA, but nowadays it's really difficult. And usually will make you re-ticket, which means you have to pay a change fee and the change in fare in order to get on the plane.
So you're saying you got to just start over, buy a new ticket
Yes.
right then and there?
Right then and there at the airport.
Wow. So
and hope that there's a seat left.
So that's one of the services that I guess you would help help offer to clients is to make sure that their name matches their ticket, often overlooked, especially in the case of international flights where you say passport has to be the middle name involved and everything, correct?
Yeah.
What's really disturbing is you said and hope that there's a seat left. If they screwed your ticket up, that should be a seat open up in the air, right?
There should be, yeah, but usually sometimes there's a long standby list, and so in that moment where you're re-ticketing, where you cancel the original ticket and then you buy the new ticket, someone else could just
I always
slip
wondered
in.
how those standby lists get so long. Are there just people that just go to the airport and say, hey, I decided to go to Washington today. Could you throw me on this flight if there's some room? I mean, where do these long standby lists come from? Aren't people planning ahead of time
and
here?
what are these people doing as they're waiting? Are they sitting in the lobby every day?
Yeah, I just wondered where is this coming from?
So a lot of times the people on the list are either people whose travel has been disrupted, so their earlier flight was delayed or canceled, or business travelers who are trying to get on an earlier flight home. So those are kind of the two biggest options you're going to see in a standby list.
And how is it that flights get overbooked? It seems like every flight I'm on these days is overbooked, and they're like, we're offering 2 free tickets around the world for giving up your seats. And I took advantage of that one time with my father. It was several years ago. But how are flights getting overbooked?
Well, they do overbook them. So each airline has an algorithm to determine what they think the percentage of people who won't show for their flights are.
Okay.
Because every day there's a lot of people who just don't show. Either they miss the flight or they change the
So
flight.
they're
at the
intentionally
last
doing
minute.
that. I was thinking that maybe because
doing it.
I was thinking that because there's all these different systems, maybe if somebody bought a ticket at the same time as somebody else, they kind of went in at the same time, and maybe they just weren't able to cut
What
one.
do you think they got to sit there and play paper, rock, scissors for the spot or something?
I don't know. So they're intentionally overbooking these with the assumption that maybe 5% people aren't going to show up, and then they could then get that additional profit from the standby list, correct?
Yeah.
But what is in reality in a typical flight? How many people do not show on a typical flight? Do you know?
I don't have the current statistics. I think it depends on the route. So a lot of times heavy business routes, so like a New York Boston route, or even like a New York LA route, where it's heavy business travelers, has a higher rate of people who will change their flights at the last minute because their meeting got rescheduled. They could leave earlier. They need to stay a day later. So those flights you're going to see a heavier changeover.
Now we're talking about mistakes that people make with regard to travel here with Angie Lusk, who is also a travel agent in addition to a chief strategist with Julianne Nichols at the Focus on You strategy. Direct is not the same as nonstop on flights. Do you see people confusing those two?
Yes. I think every Southwest flight I've ever been on, someone thought they were on a nonstop and they weren't. All direct means is that you can get there on the same ticket. So you don't have to buy 2 tickets to get there. It means there's a route that goes from Tampa to New York.
Right.
Non-stop is what you want. That means that you're not stopping in between Tampa and New York.
I take all these things for granted as just easy to do. I guess it's not so easy for some
Not
people.
so easy to
not
do.
paying attention to connection times, especially for international travel. Another common mistake that you see with travelers, and how to get from the airport to the resort, not planning ahead of time. So these are all services, I take it, that you put out for the for your consumers, correct?
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, people just cannot work the airport, I guess. So I'm
Nope.
learning here some of the things that people are making mistakes in, and I seem to.
I've never even been to an airport. I'm not even kidding.
So you would need some help figuring out
There
what
you go.
to
So
do.
you would need the services
You
of
would need a
Angie.
travel agent.
All right, we've got to take a quick bottom of the hour break here. Again, currently talking to Angie Lusk, Chief Strategist with the Focus on You strategy, bringing out the CEO in you, and learn more about this over at focusonyoustrategy.com, and also about her travel agency business over at tripswithangie.com, and also continue the discussion in the Facebook group Focus Fridays, where they put up a lot of polls and questions, and you can ask some questions yourself. Again, Facebook group Focus Fridays. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
This live, crash being cleared at 40th and 19th Avenue in Tampa, and also eastbound Cortez at Mariner Boulevard in Hernando County. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson, New York. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Lead Safe America. Does your child struggle to concentrate and pay attention? What looks like ADD or autism may actually be caused by lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin. It can cause permanent brain damage. Find out how to protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org.
1250 winds, weather center forecast. Today's high in the lower 90s. A mix of sun and clouds. Rain chance lower to 30%. Bit of a change in the weather pattern. We'll see the storms and showers develop along the coast this afternoon, and those will push inland versus what we've seen the past couple of days. Upper 70s for the low. Forecasts through the weekend remaining the same. Impact Radio 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to the Focus Fridays edition of That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Learn more about the Focus on You strategy, bringing out the CEO in you at FocusOnYouStrategy.com, and take advantage again of one of their CEO exchanges, two of which are coming up on the 23rd and the 25th. There from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. $35 to register in a very small, intimate group of up to 10 of your peers, where you can talk about different problems that you're having in your business. And again, they're going to be hosted at the C1 Bank on North Del Mabry on the 23rd, and the Regis First Central Bank in St. Petersburg on the 25th. In studio with Angie Lusk, Chief Strategist with the Focus on You strategy, and also a travel agent. And you can learn more about her at tripswithangie.com. And Angie, we're talking about different mistakes that you see travelers make with regard to taking trips, and another one is trusting pictures on the internet. How big of a problem is this?
This is a big problem. So a little tip, if you see a picture at a resort of a beach without any lounge chairs on it, know that it's not going to look like that when you get there, because every resort is going to put a ton of lounge chairs out on the beach because that's what people want to be. They want to be on the beach. And so really look for pictures with people in them, with lounge chairs in them, and that will give you a better sense of what the resort is like. The other thing is, if you want to look up the resort on Google Maps, then you can really see how big the beach is, how far back it goes, so you don't get fooled by that wide-angle lens shot.
How trustworthy is the star rating on these hotels? A lot of people do reference those things, and I'm surprised because I never did until a few years ago. I mean, how trustworthy is those star ratings on hotels?
It's very difficult. In Europe, it's a little more standard because they all use the same scale, but when we talk about the Caribbean, there's a number of different rating systems and ranking systems. The AAA Diamond program is a good indicator, especially in the luxury market, of what to expect at a resort, because there is sort of a grid where you can say if it has this many diamonds, that means it has this, this, and this. But otherwise, it's sort of hit or miss. Some people will say they're a 5-star resort when really, we would look at it and say that's kind of a moderate 3-star resort.
Which airlines, in your experience, have been providing the best service to yourself and your clients? Which ones are you telling people to just stay away from altogether right now?
Well, I think we've seen in the news Allegiant has had some struggles recently.
Some safety issues,
some
too.
Major
a lot of
safety issues.
Yeah.
So that's one where I'm advising
I'm a little
folks.
worried about that one because my father flies in from Youngstown to St. Petersburg. They have a direct flight through Allegiant. So, but go ahead and continue.
So so that one I'm a little nervous about right now. There's a couple providers that they just have a lot of extra fees. So, for instance, Frontier and Spirit, they have very low fares, but you just really need to understand the fare structure for how much you're going to end up paying with the ticket. In terms of out of the Tampa market, Southwest I found has the most nonstop flights to different areas. So I do like the Southwest options in the Tampa market, plus there's no fees. You don't have to worry about a change fee or having to pay for baggage.
And we just added one, I think, to San Francisco, correct?
Yeah.
Was that a Southwest
I think that's
flight?
on United.
That's a United flight. I know there was a big push because a lot of people doing business and going back and forth between San Francisco. A couple of tips that I've found that I'll relay to people. I've found that when I travel, I just buy a standard ticket on whatever site. And when I go to the counter desk, I always ask for upgrades. And I've gotten a number of upgrades to first class as low as $50 before, especially on the weekend. A little bit harder during the weekday, but especially on the weekend, there's not many business travelers, so the first class seats are typically open. And another tip that I do is a lot of the airlines charge for your luggage, so I won't check it at the gate. I'll take it through the airport, get through security with it, and then at the gate, they'll check it there. And so if you have a connection, it's nice because then they'll connect it for you and everything. You just got to pick it up at the baggage claim. So don't pay for it at the front desk when you check in. Just lug it through the airport and check it at the gate. And I've never had them turn it down. They always do it for free. A lot of times they market for that. They're like, hey, we're overbooked. We're crowded here. Can somebody check some luggage? And so that's when I first learned about this. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do that. And I just started doing it every single time. Any other tips such as that you've come across in the travel business that you could share with people?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one is just really understanding the 311 rules. So if you haven't flown before, want to make sure that you meet the TSA requirements for what you're bringing on board. Another really important thing to look at is just making sure that you have all the documents you need. So some countries require visas. Some of them, like the Dominican Republic, you pay for a tourist card when you get there. So you want to make sure you have $10 in cash when you arrive. So just really understanding what those different visa requirements are.
And another service that you provide is instructing people on what they may not even know, like time of year matters, for instance. Elaborate on this for a little bit.
Sure. So everyone wants the best price at the best weather, and that's not really how it works. So if you want to find a great deal, you want to think about the shoulder season. So what I mean by that is the month before or after the best weather in a location. So for instance, the Alaska season runs May to September for cruises. So if you look at May cruises or September cruises, they're going to price less because you're on the edge of the regular season. So the weather's going to be a little more iffy, but you're going to see some price savings. Another big thing when it comes to time of year matters is some countries, especially heavily Catholic countries, shut down around Easter. So if you've had this dream of going to the Dominican Republic and tearing around the ocean in jet skis, you want to make sure you're not going Easter week.
Or you don't even know that if you go to like Expedia or Travelocity. Do they give any type of warnings about that?
If they do, it's probably at the very bottom in super tiny print. But in general, no. It's just kind of understanding what the festivals of that country are and what that's going to mean for your trip.
So just another reason to use a travel agent versus the online portals that are out there. Then you talk about add-ons that create a VIP experience. Tell us about this.
So one great add-on that I always use is some airports have what they call a VIP service, where someone will meet you at the gate as you come off the airplane, and they will escort you through customs and immigration in an expedited line, and so you don't have to wait. You don't have to queue up and wait for an hour and a half, and they'll get you right to your transfer. So Montego Bay has a great program around that, and a lot of different airports internationally. And in some of them, depending on how luxurious you want to get, that you actually don't even have to go into the terminal. You can go down the plane stairs, they pick you up in a town car on the runway and drive you to where you need to go to exit the airport.
How often do people use like the one airline? I fly whatever comes up on Expedia's is the cheapest one. Do you recommend that people kind of commit to one airline, or is it just whatever the best deal is?
It really depends on how often you're flying. So if you're a business traveler that you're going to be flying every week, there are significant perks when it comes to the standard airlines like Delta, United, American, to staying on those airlines. Because once you get to Platinum, you have access to the business lounge, you have these upgrade opportunities you were talking about. So in that case, you may want to think about being loyal to one program. When it comes to Southwest, I found if you do travel a lot and you have the Visa card, it's very easy to earn what they call a companion pass, which means that you can pick someone to fly free with you wherever you go.
Now, do all the airlines have like a business lounge, like all the major ones? I found that is a nice little upgrade. That's another tip, a thing you can ask for, an upgrade just to sit in the business lounge even and stuff too. Which ones have the best business lounge, would you say?
It depends on the airport. So in general, a lot of them share airport lounges. But one big tip is that if you are in a situation where there's a ton of flight delays across the airport due to weather, go to the business lounge. Pay the $25, $30, $50 to get entry, because then they have a person in there who will solve this problem for you if you haven't used a travel agent. That you can go in, they'll start working on your flight arrangements. You go sit down, you grab a beer, you grab a snack, and they figure out how to get you to where you need to be. And it's well worth the $50.
That's what I was going to ask. Do they still serve beer and peanuts on airplanes?
No, if you pay for it.
Yeah,
if you pay for it. Yeah, the beer's you always got to buy the beer. The peanuts, or they give you some little snack or something. Just about every airline will do that.
Well, it sounds a little more enticing now.
So you were in the campaign business. You moved into travel agency. How long ago did you open up the travel agency?
5 years.
5 years. And at what point did you meet Julianne Nichols?
About a year and a half ago.
How did you meet Julianne then?
We met at a CEO exchange, and then I was really impressed with how helpful just that hour's worth of time was. And I joined one of her strategy circles, which are monthly meetings of the same group of people to share ideas and create accountability and kind of do that challenge brainstorming.
And so what have been the lessons that you've learned about succeeding in a competitive environment, such as being in a travel agency?
So, we talked about the 5 whys, really understanding what differentiates you in the market. I think another big thing that I've learned is, CEOs lead, firefight, and go global. And that was one piece of the business I wasn't focused on. I was just answering my emails, planning trips, and I wasn't taking time out to really think about, okay, how am I going to get to scale? How am I going to grow this business? What is the growth plan over the next year and a half? And so by working with her, she really encouraged me and helped me to get in that mindset of being the CEO versus just an employee of my business.
And I like how you talked about, just limiting your market, and it increased your bottom line when you focused on just traveling to Disney World, Disneyland versus the entire globe, and how that increased your bottom line. Niche being one of the 5 whys that Julianne talks about. What are the 5 whys? Niche I just led into as one of them, but what are the other whys that she talks about in her program?
So the first one is your category. Why would your client need this type of a business? So it's if they were going to go to the yellow pages, what category would you be under? Then the second is your niche, like we talked about. What is your specialty? And then why your company? So why is your company the best option within that niche? And then if you're in a larger company, why you in that company? Why should they work with you in that company? Luckily, it's just me and my company, so it's always me. And then why now? Creating that urgency. Why should they work with you now?
So you're now a chief strategist in addition to travel agent with Julianne. Why or how did you step into a role as an actual employee alongside Julianne and focus on your strategy?
Well, in working together in the CEO exchanges and the strategy circles, Julianne noticed that I do have this skill set around taking big ideas and turning them into specific plans. And she thought that would be beneficial to some of her clients. And so she asked me to start working one-on-one with those clients who needed that type of help and support.
And you said you were focused on building processes and strategies, and I think I asked you at the top of the hour, but did that come naturally, or is that something that's as a result of working with Julianne, focus on your strategy?
Yeah, that definitely comes naturally. I've always been the person that makes the plan and has the details and figures it all out.
Good information here. Again, currently talking to Angie Lusk, a chief strategist with a Focus on You strategy, bringing out the CEO in you. And learn more about this over at focusonustrategy.com and register for one of their upcoming CEO exchanges, 2 of which are coming coming up on the 23rd and the 25th, again, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and the first being at the C1 Bank on North Del Mabry, the second of which being at the Regis First Bank in Central St. Petersburg. And again, they are $35. Also, learn more about Angie Lusk's travel business over at tripswithangie.com, and continue the discussion in the Focus Fridays group in Facebook, and also, again, learn more FocusOnYouStrategy.com. You're listening to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Heavy traffic on northbound 275 off the Howard Franklin Bridge to West Shore, then on the brakes again from Dale Mabry into downtown Tampa. Crash off to the left-hand side just past Howard and Armenia. Also delays on southbound 275 from Fletcher to Sly and westbound I-4. Approaching 275, minor crash at 40th Street and 19th Avenue. Also one being cleared in Hernando County on eastbound State Road 50 at Mariner. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson, Eudora, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Lead Safe America. Does your child struggle to concentrate and pay attention? What looks like ADD or autism may actually be caused by lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin. It can cause permanent brain damage. Find out how to protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org.
Today, mostly sunny, 40% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, high 92. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 78. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance with a high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to the Focus Fridays edition of That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Talking to Angie Lusk, Chief Strategist with the Focus on You strategy, bringing out the CEO in you, and learn more about this at FocusOnYouStrategy.com, and also about her travel business over at TripsWithAngie.com. And so, Angie, you were talking about working with Julianne and how she helped you, build your bottom line with your travel business. You talked about, focusing on a niche and learning about the 5 whys. What are some of the other lessons that you learned through Julianne's Focus on You strategy, and the lessons that you can then continue to teach other entrepreneurs today?
I think the other big lesson, well, obviously, is the importance of processes. It is something I come to naturally, but working with her, I really began to understand how you can use processes to grow your bottom line, whether you need to delegate or automate, how important it is to really understand every step of the tasks that are within your business so that you can make better decisions about how to spend your time. And I hadn't really gone in, even though I knew how to do processes and plans, I hadn't done that analysis of my own business. And so she helped me figure that out. And we really went in and figured out what I can automate, what I can, tee up to delegate, and how to build the business that way.
Now, at your CEO exchanges, it's, again, a group of about 10 people with their peers. You talk about the challenges and the successes, and you get some feedback from the group. But how important is it to exchange ideas with people outside of your own sphere?
Oh, it's critical. That's why I'm so passionate about these CEO exchanges. It's the only place I found where you can go and get feedback from people you don't know, who aren't in your industry, and a lot of times who be your ideal clients. Like that direct feedback. People come up with these outside the box ideas that are just incredible to help people build their businesses. After every CEO exchange, somebody's saying, wow, I never would have thought of that. I never would have
Can you share
that.
some examples, for instance, of things that you've heard inside of CEO exchanges, or any aha moments that people have had in addition to yourself when you were learning about the power of having just that niche, that smaller net versus the larger net against the audience?
Definitely. So I think, every week there is some aha moment around some automation that people don't know about, whether it's an app or a program or a calendar program that people can use. We've also had really big aha moments around where to find your ideal client that's outside of the box. So talking about, if you're looking for lawyers, where do you go find lawyers? They're not at networking events, and having people talk about, well, no, you can go here.
They're all at the Tampa Club in the evening.
They're at the Tampa Club in the evening. Yes, that's right.
They're all over there. So just
they're
go
at the
there.
Tampa Club.
Yeah, I would just think go to a courthouse. I mean,
Go to a
Yeah, but
courthouse.
they're in business
lawyers
there.
there.
But yeah, go to if you want to meet attorneys, go join the Tampa Club. That's where they're at.
But that's like such a good idea, because people wouldn't think of that. People would think, oh, I just have to find the right networking group. But no, you really need to go where your ideal clients are going to be. Continuing education classes, the Tampa Club. So just really helping people narrow in on that ideal client and then brainstorm where that person is going to be.
And coming to the realization that not everyone is your client. And that's a thing that I struggle with a lot. I'll hear some negative feedback, or maybe I'm not appealing to that particular person. I want to try to appeal to that person, but I really maybe shouldn't be wasting my time appealing to that person because they're not my client. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, Julianne calls it the red rope policy. And that's the idea that you determine who you want to work with. And that's really how you begin to develop powerful clients that are going to be huge referral bases for you, because you're qualifying your clients and making sure you really are the best fit for them, for what they want to accomplish. And to me, that was so important, because the type of service I provide is a little more intensive. You're going to get more than if you just book the lowest price package on Expedia. And so if you're the person who wants the lowest price package on Expedia, I'm not a good fit for you.
Right.
And that took a while for me to realize, because I was still chasing those Expedia clients down the road like, hey, come back.
Now, you sat through many CEO exchanges. You've heard a lot of the problems and the challenges that leaders face every day in their business. Do you hear a consistent theme across the leaders in these CEO exchanges? Is there just one problem, the growth problem of their business, the hiring problem of their business? I mean, is it the technology? I just can't can't keep up with everything. What are you hearing in these CEO exchanges?
I think the one consistent concern we hear is that moment when you are ready to grow from the initial originators of the business into the next level. And how do you do that? How do you start to delegate? How do you decide what to delegate? How do you put the plans and systems in place so that you can delegate in a successful way? A lot of people don't want to let go and delegate. Mm-hmm. And we know that you're one of those people,
I'm one of those, yes, yeah. And I talk about, that I need to develop a brand outside of myself, because then it becomes more easy to sell down the road when you're versus selling yourself, because, you have the relationships. You want to kind of step outside of that, but it's difficult for me because I want to be seen as like front and center. Yeah, that's me. I did that. That's all cool. But then when I go to sell it and I try to sell it to you, then, you don't have those same relationships. And so that's the power of building a brand. It's
I got to stop getting sidetracked on the show and pay attention, because I always come back in, like the other day with Chris Cremosa, I come back in and he was talking about, what was it, the vag sprayer or something, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Sisters of Flow, the podcast.
Yeah, yes. The Sisters of Flow. And then I come into this one and all I hear is you're selling yourself.
Josh zones in and out over there, by the way. So just
I'm a little sick too.
Yeah,
so.
But he's also taking care of us on the live stream and everything, and so he adds a little color commentary for us.
And
from
looking
time
for
to
her
time.
celebrity lookalike.
Oh, did we get that? Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
that's a new feature we have here on the program.
I'm nervous about
Yeah, who
this.
is her celebrity
nervous?
lookalike?
Oh, you don't got to be nervous. I mean, if I looked like let me find her. I lost her. Oh, there she is. If I looked like Reese Witherspoon, I wouldn't be nervous at all.
I like it.
Yeah, there you go. Reese Witherspoon
thanks.
is Angie Lusk's celebrity lookalike.
I'll take that. Thank you.
Now, I know when I attended the CEO Exchange, I came out with a lot of great ideas and learned about some interesting tools, one of which was the Calendly tool, calendly.com, and I use this for the TBBO members, where people can put themselves into my calendar at their own interest or at their own behest. They just go on to calendly.com/Jamie Maloney and they pencil themselves in. This is a free tool. Tell us about this.
No, it's great. So it links up to your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar, and you get your own website, and that you can just send that to people. And so instead of playing the calendar game where you send 4 times and they send 4 times and now your email's just full of back and forth, they can directly get into your calendar, see it, and then depending on the option you have, it generates an automatic email response, so they have the confirmation. They can easily add it to their own calendar.
Yeah, a great little tool there that I've been using in TBBO. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask. Is there some way for you to field what's going on? That way you can approve or disapprove anything?
Well, if you put your calendar open, then people can put themselves in there and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the great part is you can limit what time slots are open. So you can say, from noon to 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I meet with potential TBBO members.
Yep, and it's been working great.
A ton of time, it seems.
Yeah, and I call that key connections, where I identify key connections that I can make for different people within the group, because I've interviewed like 1,000 people on this show, so I know people all over Tampa Bay right now. So just another benefit of TBBO, but don't want to go down that path right now because we're at the end of the program. So Angie Lusk, thank you so much for being in studio today. Great interview. And Angie Lusk, Chief Strategist with the Focus on You strategy, bringing out the CEO in you. Learn more about this over at focusonustrategy.com and take advantage of one of their CEO exchanges, the next of which is August 23rd at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the C1 Bank on North Dale Mabry, and then on August 25th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Regis First Central St. Petersburg Bank. Learn more again, focusonustrategy.com, and continue the discussion on the Facebook group Focus Fridays. You've been listening to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.